Welcome to the official Skriggz Mods YouTube channel. We're going to start posting some how-to videos on how to install custom parts from skriggzmods.com. To start today, we're going to show you how to access your Xbox One controller buttons to swap them out for guide buttons or ABXY buttons that we offer on our website. So to start, we've already removed the parts inside, but we'll show you how to do it. You want to get your finger or something and pry it out under the trigger. So just put your finger under the trigger and pull on the handles, and they'll pop out. Once you have that, and then take the battery pack off. Now there will be a seal located right here, and there will be a screw under there, and then two screws on your handles, top and bottom. Once you unscrew those, Torx secure to T8. Then remove the back plate, and the front plate just pops right off. Then you'll see the cage for the Xbox One controller that holds all your buttons and circuitry. Now you have two sets of rumble motors. You have the full controller rumblers, which are right here, and you have ones that are located inside your trigger. So the 4 points are right here. There's two right here for the trigger rumblers, and there's two below it for the actual rumble for the controller. Same thing on the other side. Take a desoldering iron, and you just unsolder those 2 points. And that'll take off the trigger rumblers. Then you unsolder the two bottom points. Take off the other motor itself. The trigger motors won't come out because they're installed inside the trigger. So all you have to do is unsolder those. Same thing for the other side. Now once that's done, take your motors, put them aside. You're going to have two T6 screws located at the bottom of your bottom circuit board here. The Xbox One controller is a two-part circuit board, so you're going to have to snap one off to get to the other. So you unscrew those, and be sure to get firmly in the screw when you're unscrewing, otherwise you may strip the screw itself because they're not very strong screws. And then there's going to be two ports this is plugged into, this back circuit board. So you just pop that out, and you'll be able to see. Oh yeah, be sure to remove your thumbsticks also. Then you pop out the bottom circuit board, and these two ports are actually plugged into these two here. So you take that off, then you're going to have 6 T6 screws located on the main circuit board itself, which actually holds your buttons in. Remove all those. If you do this often, I recommend getting one of these magnetic screw holders here. Definitely very helpful. That way you don't lose any screws. There's one more in the middle. Go ahead and take that off. Then what you want to do is you want to take off the bumpers and the top piece here because it's going to be over the circuit board. You're not going to be able to remove it without doing so. So you just get a finger or a screwdriver under, pop it up, and then kind of wiggle it out. Be firm but gentle. Then for the top middle piece, you just put your fingers under these two posts here, bend it up a bit, you'll hear a click, and then you slide it out. And take your sync button and put it over here so you don't lose it. Very easy to lose. And you pull your circuit board out of the controller, the frame itself, and you pull back the conductive rubber, and you'll get access to your ABXYs right here, and then your start and menu button, and your guide button. Now we're putting this back in just for the sake of the video, but this is Destiny Xbox One guide button, available on skriggzmods.com. We'll put a link in the description also. And then you put your rubber back on once you make sure everything's in place, all your buttons are set correctly, and the keys. Put your circuit board back on, make sure the ports are on the outside, and you'll see the LED on the inside, which you can also change. These we recommend an 0805 LED, but 0603 also works. Put that on, screw your controller back in. Remember to get all 6 in there. Screw them in hand tight. You don't want to strip the screws. No reason to over tighten, it's not going to make it any better. And while I'm doing this, you could also pick up your Torx T8 screwdriver off skriggzmods.com, along with some wire strippers if needed, when you're modding a controller or anything like that. These screws are a pain to get on the bottom end because of the angle and how small they are. As you can see here, difficulties. Once you get that bottom board screwed in, you then pop the second part of the circuit board in. Make sure your wires are out of the way because you're going to need to solder those on the top of it. And make sure it gets plugged into the ports in there. Push firmly. Then take the last two screws you have that were from the bottom circuit board. Screw those in. So that way when you push on your thumbsticks and everything, it doesn't pop your board out, which would cause malfunction of your controller. Now that that's complete, you have to resolder your trigger rumble motors first. Really no preference, I just find it easier to do the triggers first so the wires aren't in the way. You do this, the gray wire on the inside point and the black wire on the outside point. Same thing for the other side. Now for the rumble motors themselves, for the whole controller, the little one, when you're looking at the back, the little one will be on the left side. And for this one, you solder the black wire to the bottom point. The red wire to the top point. And then for the right side, you'll get the bigger rumble motor. That'll be the opposite. You do the red wire on the bottom and the black on top. While you're doing this, make sure not to knock off any of the resistors that are located on the circuit board while you're soldering. Once that's soldered in, you can see all the points are soldered in. Tuck your wires in. Put your sync button back into the little slot that it holds it. Take this piece, slide it right over. Make sure it locks in these two posts here. Then take your bumpers and slide them on the post here and here. A little bit of force, they'll pop right on. Same thing for the other side. Once you have that, you put your thumbsticks back in. And you won't need to take apart your controller or swap out your D-pad. You just pull this metal cage off, just pry it up a little bit, be sure not to bend it. D-pad will pop right out, and then you just put the new one in and slide the metal cage back on. Take your top plate, slide that right on, slides right over. Again, make sure your wires are tucked in. These two battery prongs here have to go in these little slots on the inside of the battery compartment. So line them up, pull your triggers in a little bit, and then the shell will pop right on. After that, you then screw in the Torx Security T8 screws on the outside of the shell. You got 5 here, 1 in the middle, 2 on the handles, and 2 on the other handles. Put that in, put your batteries in, and you'll see the way the new guide button, or whatever buttons you like, how they work. Now if you guys have any other questions, just leave a comment in the comments box and we'll be happy to answer them for you, or email us at sales@skriggzmods.com. And for any of your custom controller needs, parts, we also sell wholesale. If you have wholesale inquiries, be sure to email us and we'll set you up with some wholesale pricing. skriggzmods.com. Thanks for checking this out.